Hello, in this video we are going to go over what you will be doing at your centers. So let's begin at the very beginning. No matter which center you do first, because some of you might start with the chalk pastels, others might start with paints, depends on where you end up going. You will all need to start with coloring in the circles with the three primary colors. Make sure you look at what word is here so that I know this circle needs to be red, and then I can neatly and completely color it in. Now is also a very good time to double check and make sure you have your name and class code on that sheet. In this second circle, this word says yellow. So this one, I'm going to use yellow to color in. The last one says blue, so I'm going to use blue to color that circle in. There. Now they are all colored in, and I am ready to move on to my first center with chalk pastels. This is where you might need to use your other sheet that we have done to help you figure out which colors to mix. Now, if you make a mistake, that is totally okay. I'm going to show you just what to do in that instance. Now, when we have the paints, you are only going to be given red, yellow, and blue, so you won't be able to cheat. And the key thing here is to try not to cheat even when you're using the chalk pastels. So, when I am needing to mix orange, I want to make sure that I am using what two colors? That's right, I'm going to use red and yellow to make an orange. So I'm going to start by coloring in some orange. And then I'm going to take a little bit of red here and color over top. Now it's not mixed yet. This is where I take my finger and I blend or mix the two together to get an orange. For the extra dust there, rather than swipe it with my hand, because that's just going to make a big mess, I'm going to take a little puff of air off to the side, not in anybody's face, and then I can clean off my finger with that dry paper towel that I had you grab earlier to set up your artistic space. See, I can just wipe that off and I'm ready for my next color. Now, let's say I wasn't quite paying attention and I need to mix green, and I grab my red and start coloring in there. Oops, do we use red to make green? No, it's supposed to be yellow and blue. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to relabel. So I can cross off green and I can think what other secondary color does use red. That would be purple. So I'm just gonna swap this, and this is going to become my green space. You can do that at any point. If you accidentally start painting in the wrong spot, if you accidentally color in one of your primary colors in the wrong spot, you can always relabel. What's important is that you know what you are putting down and you're putting the correct things with the correct labels. So now that this is my purple spot, I'm going to take blue and I'm going to mix it together to see how those chalk pastels mix with the purple. And so on and so forth until I get all of my spaces in. Now hopefully you won't have to do any relabeling, so it won't get too confusing, but just in case, you can always check your labels and see if you need to relabel. Now, one of the really important things to remember is what good studio habits look like when it comes to painting. Because you're going to be sharing these paints with your neighbors, you want to make sure that we are leaving these colors pure, so the next person who needs to mix yellow or red and purple and blue to make purple, that they are able to do that and there's not a whole bunch of yellow in there, because then the colors just start getting muddy. So in order to mix these, we want to remember that one, we can dip right away. With orange, I'm going to start with my lightest color and I'm just going to pad some of that down on the paper. Then I'm going to scrub, swipe. Oh, I'm still seeing a little paint, so I'm going to scrub a little more. Swipe, dab. Dip once into my red because red is very strong. I might even need to add a little bit more yellow back into this, which that's a pretty red orange. So I am going to scrub, swipe, dab again, and I'm going to go back into my yellow and quickly mix that in before it dries. That's a better orange. So you can always, if you accidentally go too far with one color, you can clean your brush and you can go back with another, okay? But you notice that I did clean my brush in between each color and after I'm done mixing. So even if I'm still mixing the same color, I'm still gonna clean my brush and go back in, okay? You'll use that same process when you're mixing the yellow and blue. You'll want to make sure you add yellow first and then add just a little bit of blue because yellow is weak. I like to say that he needs to work out. He needs more muscles. Because he's such a light color, you help him out by using him first. He gets a head start, and then a tiny bit of the other color added should change your color. And you can always add more of whatever color you think it needs to problem solve that. Next, we are ready to go ahead and learn how